Well, welcome back to our sad attempt at adulting via a video.
Yep, round two.
Today, Gingerdor will tell you more about her sad fails at life. There's plenty to pick from, of course. And then we will most likely talk about Lord of the Rings for today.
Yes. I feel like I'll let you go first on the adulting fails.
I don't have any to contribute.
No updates?
Updates on what?
A particular creature that maybe attacked you earlier and you were sieging. You had a feud going with him.
Oh, my squirrel buddy.
Yeah.
Well, we made up. We
How's
became
the siege going?
best friends. Really. He brought me some nuts. I took the nuts. He starved and died outside my window, and that was the end of our friendship.
He's just dead.
Yeah, and I'm still outside my window.
Fucking
actually.
kill him.
So, no, I don't know. He looks like he's alive, but he's also like covered in like I don't know, tree stuff that would not normally be there on a normal live animal. He also hasn't moved in a few days, so that might be like another factor.
Is he sitting in the same place he was sitting before?
Yes, I don't track him, but yes.
I haven't been tracking him, but he suspiciously. I mean, he could be just laying in wait.
He could be. So I'm just gonna let him because I don't know what you do with an animal corpse.
Do you garbage it or do you compost?
That's a good question.
What a disgusting question.
What to do with animal remains?
It's not a pet. It's not a pet. I'm not a psycho. But I have this thing.
I also didn't murder a wild animal either because I'm not a psycho.
Okay, I know, but if you met
it's
someone...
not my beloved pet. I only kill wild animals.
Okay, but if you met someone and they were like, oh yeah, I threw my dog in the compost after he died, you would know that they were a fucking psycho. Versus if you're just yeah, I had this dead squirrel in my yard. What do I do with it? Then that's not really a psycho if they...
Yeah, maybe I have to bury it, but I don't have grass.
Maybe we'll say some words for him.
You were a dark squirrel. You scared me quite a bit.
I thought you were out to get me.
You stalked
you were
me
actually...
outside my window for a while.
Turns out you were just dead. I'm sorry I hated you.
Indeed.
He didn't choose that spot to die in. That's so weird though. What did he die from? It's just a fucking squirrel. And he's just dead in a window well.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess squirrels die. You know?
Yes. All living things come to an end.
What? But you just don't see them. Because I think usually a fox will come eat him or something. I don't know.
Yes, plenty of suburban foxes to gobble up those squirrels.
I mean, there probably is. There's probably deer living here. You just don't see them. They live in the city.
Yeah,
they're just
not so central.
Yeah, it's a little
They're
central. They could be sneaky. They got sneak in.
Anyway,
so,
that's my update. And you, Gingerdor?
Mine is not a recent one. This is more of a Lord of the Rings themed one, but I think it's appropriate for today if we're talking about Lord of the Rings. So, a year ago, I didn't think this was going to be an embarrassing story, and then it turned into one. So, a year ago, my husband and his family went to New Zealand, and we went to, where they filmed The Hobbit, because there's a tour and everything, and you can go into Hobbit holes, and it was so cool. And we got there to the tour and to, the Hobbiton area, and they have the little path where, Bilbo, runs out in the movie and is like, I'm going on an adventure. And they were like, okay, guys, this is a nerd-safe area because you're at the Hobbit, so, no one's gonna judge you here. You can just go crazy. So if you guys want, you can, run and do the little line from Lord of the Rings, or from The Hobbit, and recreate that scene because you're in the movie set. And I was like, that's so cool. Definitely, everyone that's come to The Hobbit is probably, also a bunch of nerds. That'll be great. No one here is going to judge. And I just thought everyone was going to do it. So, nobody jumped up first, so I was like, I'll do it. So then I did this.
On an adventure!
And then no one else did this. And I ran into the group behind us. So 2 full groups saw me do this. No one else did it. At least not in our group. And I didn't see anyone else doing it either. And then I just was like, wow, that's it, hey? Just me? Guys, my husband didn't do it. None of our family did it. None of the other people on the tour did it. And as it turned out, most of the other people on the tour also don't know anything about The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, because she asked at the end who's seen the movies or read the books, and they were like, no. What are you doing there? Why would you come to this? Anyway, the moral of the story is, I got on the bus to leave the tour place, and they had like a little TV at the front of the bus playing scenes from The Hobbit, and they played that scene, and one guy at the front of the bus like looks back, hey, that's you! And I was like, oh my god, why? I was like, yes, like I'm not a crazy person. I thought everyone was doing this. I thought I wasn't alone. And
That's what happens when you let your nerd show.
yeah, my husband filmed it too, so you know, that's fun.
What was his reason for not doing it?
That he has some self-respect.
It's an interesting
I didn't.
thought.
That's not what he told me, but I assume that's his reasoning. He just didn't want to because he's a loser, and I'm the only one that really was there to have fun. So you know, yeah. Not
Sounds
the first
like it.
time, not the last time. Here we are. But literally 2 groups. You know, wasn't enough that like 15 people had to see it. Like another 15 had to see it too.
The Hobbit homes.
And she lied to me. It was not a nerd safe area.
That bitch.
I was fucking lied to. So, you know, cool place to go. I would recommend it, but maybe make sure somebody else does it first. Is all I'd say.
And it is not nerd free.
And it's not as nerd safe as you might hope. Where else can be
Nerd
nerd safe though? This is ridiculous.
That's right.
Anyway, so that's fun. Now, I guess we're going to talk about Lord of the Rings. And
That's a valid segue.
Yeah.
Segui.
oh my god. Anyway. Now, I have read the books and The Hobbit and watched the
I have
movie.
not.
You can read the books?
I read The Hobbit.
You own them.
And don't they look nice in that box?
So, basically you're a fraud for this whole video.
I watched the movies. Isn't that what matters?
I mean, yeah, I feel like the movies are way better.
I just haven't heard anything good.
I have not a lot of good stuff to say about the books, because I read them, I tried to read them when I was like 12, because we watched the movies, and I was like, those were awesome, I need to read the books. So I read the books, I made it through like the first one, maybe halfway, and I was like, okay, I can't do this, must not be old enough to enjoy this book yet. So then I gave her a break for like 15 years, and read them again like a couple years ago, and I was like, yeah, no, they're not better. It wasn't that I was not old enough. They're pretty dry. There's a lot of walking. Just so much
I
walking.
mean, that's in the movies too, though.
That's in the movies too, yeah.
They're always walking.
Yeah, they kept that part in. And they're just kind of boring. Like, the same general stuff happens, but like, there's just, I don't know, they're written in a very boring way. And I was expecting to get in there and like, find out some explanations for stuff that I didn't understand what happened in the movie. Like, okay, what's Aragorn? What's his whole deal? Because he's supposedly super old. Did they get into that in the movie? Not even a little bit. Not even a tiny bit. A lot of it is just like, they'll talk about something as if we are familiar with that thing, but like, it never explains it further, or ever explains it later in the series. So then you just end the book and you're like, well, not sure what that means. And apparently you have to read like the other however many books there are in the Lord of the Rings series that are similar, I feel like, to that history book from Game of Thrones we just talked about last episode, because Yeah,
I
apparently
think
there's a
it
bunch
could
of
be
those.
Interesting.
It could be. It doesn't seem likely, judging from these ones, and then the fact that it's a history book. You know?
The Hobbit was too rough to read that I just gave up on the rest. It took me like a few weeks just to read it.
And like the Hobbit is way, way better.
I didn't find that like the story isn't as exciting in the Hobbit.
Oh yeah. I just didn't care about the story, like, especially compared to Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is like, oh no, the whole world is gonna collapse and get taken over by this bad guy if we don't, destroy this ring. The Hobbit is like, I would like to go steal a treasure from a dragon. What? Oh, and these dwarves, the dwarves also want to live in this dragon's house again. What? Bilbo doesn't have any involvement in this. Why? What? Why is he involved?
He's just a good thief.
He's just a good thief. Not that he has an experience. He's never been tested. Gandalf just thinks he's probably going to be a good thief.
All hobbits are good thieves.
Well, that seems very
Sam.
speciesist. Calling all hobbits thieves. Just because they're small.
Sam.
Nah, he's not a very good thief. Remember he tried to listen at the window there and he got caught? So, that was his one attempt. Total failure. Got dragged off Mount Doom after that one, so he fucked up. He could have stayed home. But the movies, 10 out of 10. Like, they're so good.
The movies were very good. The only thing I didn't care for was like the amount of walking. Like the Hobbit, 3 parts is like a lot of walking.
Oh no, I don't really like the Hobbit movies. I'm talking about Lord of the Rings only.
They could definitely probably have shrunk those a bit and maybe like removed the like unnecessary CGI
That wasn't really him?
It was CGI. He wasn't actually there.
Did they actually film
Not to like
him?
Blow your mind or anything, but like real people age. So
I just thought they had a lot of makeup on him.
No, it was CGI.
Why did they bother?
I'm pretty sure. Shall we Google?
Well, yeah.
Well, Mr. Google.
You better Google that before you make such wild claims. They could have just put a lot of makeup on him. Although, yeah. Well, let's not go crazy on The Hobbit, because I didn't really find that enjoyable. What is the point of him being in there, even? Legolas completely ruined it for me. Read it. Okay. Yeah, like The Hobbit, okay, it's fine, but it's not, like, the best book. Or the best movie. It was, like, just didn't really do it for me. Lord of the Rings, though. Best series ever. I can't even count how many times I've watched that. The first time we watched it, we were definitely not allowed to. Me and my sister snuck out of our room, crawled to the living room, watched it for a bit with our parents, and it was just the part where there's an orc being born.
So maybe they had him play the role, but they just CGI'd his whole, like, look.
Oh.
To make him young.
And
so have blue
kind
eyes.
Of CGI'd his face.
Yeah, his whole face was CGI'd.
So
they kept his body.
Of course. Why wouldn't they? That doesn't age as much.
I stand corrected. They only CGI'd parts of him.
Okay, so not his whole being was CGI'd.
But his face was like too unnatural looking.
But still, yeah.
He wasn't even in the book either, so it was just wholly unnecessary.
Oh yeah, I agree. And like, it's not like he came in and had like an important role. He was just kind of like there to be there. Like just to be like, hey.
The like big orc guy.
I know, but still. Like, I guess they just want some continuation from the other movies, but like...
They wanted more action. It's not like there's much in The Hobbit.
No, just a lot of walking.
And spiders.
Yeah. Definitely like the Lord of the Rings, the parts where they have, like, Frodo and Sam and Smeagol walking all the time is like, okay, like, we could get past this. Kind of boring.
Except I love Smeagol. He was hilarious.
What?
He was so messed up.
Why would you like him? He's not a good guy.
You don't have to... They don't have to be good to like...
Well, I only like him if they're good guys.
Jeez.
Why would you like him, though? He's all gross.
Miss Disney over here.
Oh, yeah. Is that a problem for you?
He can still be ridiculous and, like, likable.
ugh, I hated him. He's so annoying and gross. Fucks everything up.
But he's just like gone mentally insane.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's like a bad person.
He bites Frodo's finger off and tries to steal the ring.
From like the mind controlling ring.
Well, I don't care.
I'm glad she just blamed the victims.
I still don't like him. He could have been nice, but no. He tried to kill Frodo
Yeah, but
by
he also
luring him
helped
into a
them
big
somewhat.
spider. Well, yeah. But, like, still.
Some of us just don't have that level of maturity.
I mean, I could feel bad for him and understand how he got to where he
Really
is.
not. He's just gross.
That doesn't mean I like him or don't think he's gross. He's pretty gross. When he bites that fish, ugh. Ugh, it's so gross. Anyway, I really like the parts that are like not those three. I mean, obviously they're important, and I still like Frodo and Sam, but like they're kind of boring sometimes.
I didn't really care for Sam, in all fairness, so.
Oh my fucking god.
I like the like main people. I had no interest in like the other storyline.
I know, because
It was just boring.
it's the most important part, but it's like also pretty boring. You know, it's you can watch it once and you're like, okay, good. Like we often fast forward.
I was just
when we
more
rewatch them.
interested in the action that was going on.
I know, and plus like, you know, Aragorn is in there. And that's the reason I watched the movie, let's be honest. That guy is like, what did we call him? A stud muffin? Absolute stud muffin. Like,
He was super hot. I
he's
crushed on
so hot.
Legolas at the time.
Like Legolas is also kind of hot, but like,
Orlando Bloom was like pretty attractive.
yeah, and he was like super famous at that point because like he was in Pirates of the Caribbean, which
It was
was
like
also blowing
at
up
that
right when we were
same
watching that.
time.
Yeah.
So he was like pretty hot. I liked
Yeah.
Legolas.
Like Orlando Bloom is very hot, but I didn't really care that much for Legolas because he's like super cool in the movie and has like awesome action stuff, but like
Yeah,
he's
crazy bow
not-
action.
yeah, like he's pretty good. But like I just didn't think he was like that hot when Aragorn was around because like, whoa.
He's more your type.
He is so hot. He's got everything. Like when they are in the very first time you see him and he like hauls Frodo up to the room and like spins around with his hair and is like all fabulous. It's like, oh my god. Anyway, he's just fabulous. And he's so good in every way. He like lets Frodo leave with the ring, helps Frodo all the time, and then is like, well,
Yes, he's a real saint.
time to go
Isn't he
steal.
like 400 years old or something?
I think 800.
I mean, he ages well.
Very well, yes. Anyway, he's just perfect. Legolas, also cool, just not as hot, you know? Not quite as cool. Not the same level. And Frodo and
Well,
Sam.
Aragorn was more like the rugged attractiveness.
Yes, very true.
Legolas was like the smooth,
Yeah.
twinkish.
Well, true actually. Although he's like not really like super skinny or anything.
He wasn't the movie. He was lean.
Yeah, I guess so. Basically, I only cared about their story, you know,
You really only cared about Aragorn.
and specifically Aragorn. Yeah, wherever he is in the story, I just want to watch that. And
You just watched the movie to get your
Did
wet
you
fantasies
know-
fulfilled.
did you know that Aragorn is not, or the guy that played him wasn't even the original guy they hired?
No, he did not.
We did a lot of googling about this after our New Zealand trip.
Who was the original?
I don't know.
Oh. Does
Nobody,
anyone know?
apparently. Well, like, you Google it, I'm sure.
Oh.
But, like, it's just like a guy. Whoever. So they hired him, and they had him all set up. They were going to use him. And then they were like, you know, he's not quite old enough for this role. So then they fired him, like, shortly before they started filming, and hired, like, Viggo Mortensen, who actually plays him instead. And he got hired, like, very shortly before they started filming, and got there like the day before he had to film the scene on Weathertop where they do all this fighting and stuff. That was like his first scene in the whole movie, and he's like, okay, straight into the fight scenes, hey? okay, great. It was like apparently pretty intense. I was like, wow, makes it extra impressive.
It does, yeah.
And we could have almost not had him. Think how much worse those movies would be.
For you, probably devastatingly worse.
Yeah, for all women everywhere. Anyway,
Teen Ginger wouldn't have known who to
no,
fawn over.
that would have been rough, you know. Would have had no one. No, the Legless, but you know, not the same.
No.
Sorry,
Orlando, just not quite up to snuff.
I said Legolas, not Orlando. Let's be clear here.
It's funny because you have the same body.
Yeah, but I also like the person. I'm crushing
Personalities.
on Aragorn, not the actor. So hello, it's the opposite with Legolas.
Sorry, Vigo.
Listen, Vigo.
Okay.
We need to cut that. I don't like that.
Slut alert.
Also, Vigo, definitely also interested. Let me know.
She'll
But-
sip you her number at the end.
Call me. Although he is like probably 20 years older than in the movies now. So he could be like pretty old.
That stops you regularly.
I mean, I don't know what he looks like now. What if I get there and I'm like, you know what? 20 years ago this would have been great, but like you're 85. I don't know how old he is.
You're not a very good stalker, are you?
No. Google him. Maybe he's not that old yet. I also really liked, I can never remember, Eowyn. She was pretty fabulous. With all her badassery. See, this is what I'm talking about. He's, you know, he's old, so it's fine. Like, that's good. That's good. But, you know, that could have been 10 years ago. I don't know how old he is now.
Anyway, for those of you out there, you'll just have to Google it yourself.
Just Google
see.
some pictures of him. It's,
Let us know what you think her feelings should be.
I mean, dear God. Look at this one. Oh, he's beautiful. As I was saying, also liked Eowyn. Got some badassery with the chopping the head of that monster off. What are those called? Nazguls? That was pretty great.
She was a little fireball. The fury.
That's so odd. She was a little...
I don't know what I was trying to say there.
Yeah, okay. A little feisty. Got shit done.
Like mildly psychotic.
Yeah, it was great. For the one of like 2 female characters in the whole series.
She was
3
fucked up.
actually. There's 3. So, you know. That part could be improved on. But, you know, whatever.
Too much sexism and
The
Lord of Rings
women
there,
that-
sir.
The women that were in it were very good, at least. You know, he didn't like create a whole bunch of women characters that were just like the same person over and over again or like terrible. So, you know, that's good at least.
Yeah.
Could have included a few more, but whatever. We'll let you have that one just because the movies were so good. Kind of crush on Pippin throughout the movies because he's just like so chaotic.
I mean, both of them. Weren't they twins?
No, I think they're cousins.
Oh, okay. They were both, like, quite hilarious.
They were like so chaotic.
Pippin and Mary were, like, excellent.
Yeah. Mary, I just didn't have a crush on him for some reason, but like Pippin, I had a kind of a crush on, just because like the level of chaos is a little higher. He's kind of cute. I don't know. I was always
I
just
remember
like,
one was, like, quite handsome. The other one was, like, decently handsome, but not as.
I don't know which one you would prefer of the 2 of them.
I honestly don't quite recall what they looked like.
Well, anyway,
I did like the chaos also.
Pippin was my favorite though, especially when he like touches that skeleton in the Mines of Moria and the thing falls down the well. And Gandalf is just like, throw yourself in next time. Oh my god, Gandalf. And they just hear this thing echo all the way down into like the pit of the earth, and they're just like, every sound, they're like, poor Pippin. He looks so sad. He's just like, I'm so sorry. And then Mary, my favorite thing with him was when they're like in the forest and he's trying to convince the trees to like go attack Isengard, and he's furious. how can that be your decision? And his eyebrows are just like huge. Like his rage was just so good. We're like, whoa, that's a mad hobbit. Anyway, book's amazing. No, movie's amazing. Books,
not so much.
Not so much. A lot of people like them. Not for me.
Not for me.
Aragorn, amazing. Legolas, amazing for you.
Pippin and Merry, chaotic.
Pippin and Merry, chaotic, but still excellent.
Indeed.
Okay, well, if you guys like it, like the video, and leave us a comment on your favorite character, and subscribe if you want more videos like this.
And let us know what other nerdy, awkward situations you've ended up in.
Yeah, have you ever been tricked by a nerd-free zone? Because I would love to hear those stories. Make me feel a little better. Alright, bye. Hard to get in there, isn't it?
I just wanted to like throw it, but it was like so entangled. It just boxed your ears.
Proof of verbal abuse and now physical abuse. I'm set. Yeah, even me out. Get the other ear, please. Alright. We'll test now. Tester, make sure it's set up right. Computer is so teeny tiny and cute. Oh, you couldn't see our books the way I have it. Oh, you can. They're just tiny. So I sit like this. Ow. Oh my god. Let me get my feet up here and wiggle them.
I mean, is it so bad? Do you know how many feet fetishes we draw in?
Well, I don't know if that's our targeted audience.
Doesn't matter.
And you said earlier you wouldn't sell your feet pics for money.
I just wanted to know how much.
Changed your mind. I just wanted to know the price exactly.
The initiation of the conversation.